Welcome everybody to Sports Stuff Hub Live, episode 35, here on May 18th, 2021. So, again, we are at a bit of a lackluster time of the year for NFL news, so what are we going to talk about today? Well, last week we did have a big reveal for the 2021 NFL schedules, which we are going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about the strength of schedule of all the teams, and then we're going to dive into a couple of teams so you get a better look at who they're playing, what the opponents' records were last year, and also what the dates are. Because, as everybody knows, one of the very important things of everybody's schedule release each year is when the bye week is. Is it an early bye week, which means it's going to be a long stretch for the end of the season? Is it a middle-of-the-road bye week? So it kind of breaks up the playing time, gives the guys a chance to recover. Or is it a late season bye week where the first 12 weeks of the season are hell, and then they get a nice little rest right before playoff time and the playoff push happens? We're going to dive into that tonight, but before we get into that, we are going to have a little bit of hobby talk, as we always do. So I want to make sure that I cover a number of different things here tonight. And speaking of which, one of the things right there was an alert on break night tomorrow night. We do have, what I'll start with tonight, we do have a number of breaks that are listed on the website for tomorrow night. If you're unfamiliar with break night, every Wednesday I go live on this very same channel, and we do just a handful of group breaks. Anywhere 4 or 5-ish is what it's been. This week is only 4, and we try to keep them competitively priced and budget friendly, not big. So you're not going to see case breaks anytime soon unless prices come way down. And we're focused on putting as many cards as we can in the hands of collectors like yourselves for a reasonable price. And so far we've been having a lot of fun doing it. We've got a good group of guys guys and gals that have been joining break night each week and sitting on the live stream chat, having a good time in the chat room. It's an all ages type of thing. There is no obscene vulgarity, anything like that. So you can have your kids join in and watch. Family friendly. It's a lot of fun. There has been some drinking that has taken place because of the level of the fire that was pulled. Which, by the way, I'm going to consume a beverage tonight during the show, so I hope you guys don't mind. And hello, everybody. I see Shane and Taylor are in the room already. So, getting into this week's breaks, I did bring back a very popular, very much asked for break in Chronicles football. We're doing a 2-box, hobby box rip, random team. So that one's up there. That's, I think, a little over half full now. One of the other random team breaks we're doing is Onyx Vintage Football. Now, I will state this is an off-brand. It's not Panini, so it's not a licensed NFLPA product. And it's only 4 cards per box. This is a 6-box break, random team. Very affordable break. And each box contains 2 autographs, so it's a fun product. I'm going to rip a box tonight to end the show as kind of a preview, in hopes that maybe pull a Trey Lance auto out of it. And then the other breaks we're doing are bringing back another very popular break, which has been the 2021 Bowman Baseball 2 hobby box PYT. We have been pulling absolute fire from those hobby boxes in the previous weeks. So we're going to continue our luck and see if we can keep racking up the hits. The last week we pulled a Maximo Acosta auto out of, I believe, 199. The week before that, an Austin Martin purple auto redemption numbered out of 250. So we have been hitting a lot of good fire out of those boxes. So we're going to continue it again this week and see if we can't do it again. And we'll probably keep doing Bowman rips until people get burnt out or until we stop pulling fire. Then our fourth break of the night is going to be new release for this Wednesday, 2021 Contenders Basketball. Very sought after product for the rookie tickets. But to be quite honest, outside of that, there's not a lot in the product. But it's still going to be high risk potential in that product. So we're doing a 2-box random of that as well. Those are all on the website right now that you guys can go grab. I did see that, Taylor. I saw you pulled a really nice Acosta out of the Fat Pack. So, in other hobby news, we do have a card show this weekend. Big one. Not the Dallas show. I know quite a few people that are going to the Dallas card show this weekend. That is not the one I'm speaking of. This one is the Twin Oaks Cards and Collectibles show in Auburn, Washington, both Saturday and Sunday. It's a dual day show for the second time. And last month's show was pretty solid. And it's going to continue to grow as people get used to having 2 days worth of shows. So that's going to be a good show. I'm excited for that one. We do a lot of volume at that show. A lot of it is in Funko Pops as well. We move a fair amount of Funko Pops. I think we did close to 100 last month's show between the 2 days. So definitely a good show for our business, and continuing to engage with collectors in the area, which is one of my favorite things, to be able to meet and speak in person with local collectors, not only to build the brand of Sports Stuff Hub, but also just to network and get to know people in the area. Since relaunching Break Night, I've had more local people join group breaks than I ever had in two plus years of breaking back when I first started doing it online. So I mean, we're talking this coming tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's break night is only night 6, and so in the previous 5 weeks, more locals than 2 years worth before. I'd say that's pretty incredible. And so obviously that's one of the big things, is continuing to grow the networking and the communication and getting to know people and getting more in tune with what people are looking for. And so card shows have become an invaluable part of my business, and I'm going to continue to do that. When I have an opportunity to go to a show, especially a local show in the area, I'm going to do it. Next month, it was announced that the Everett card show, originally scheduled for 1 day, is now bumped up to 2 days as well, which was what it was supposed to be until the creator, the guy that runs the card shows, we'll just say that. It was supposed to be 2 days the first month that it was running in, March? And it got bumped to 1 because it was over the weekend of Easter, and the mall wasn't going to be open on Easter Sunday. So they knocked it down to 1 day. June, back up to 2. So, a very good surprise. So in June, then, we're going to see a Portland show. The following weekend, an Everett 2-day show. Skip a weekend, and then a 2-day Auburn show. So 5 days worth of card shows for us. That's going to be busy. It's going to be a lot of fun. Checking out some of the comments. I got to pop the chat out here real quick because it's on my other screen, and it is too dang small to read, guys. Sorry. I got to do this number to read it when it's that small. Taylor says, driving to Idaho, you're 45 minutes out of Spokane. So does that mean you're not going to be here for the card show this weekend, or are you going to be back in time for it? Northwest Arkansas, cars are usually gone as soon as yet. Arkansas, God's country. Very cool. And that's also one of the fun things I've really enjoyed about the social media platform. Well, Twitter especially, was getting to meet virtually and talking to a lot of you guys from around the country, and getting to know some of you guys and building relationships. So obviously, Twitter has been a great platform for business growth as well. And obviously now we do the shows. So as the show continues to grow, obviously the goal is to continue growth with Sports Stuff Hub Live. Once we get the studio built, which ooh, while we're talking about that, the latest update on that, oh boy. Okay, so I am in the process of digging up my septic right now because we have a drain field in our backyard, and when we bought the house, the blueprints for the layout of the property have the drain field listed on it. But one thing that was overlooked is there's no dimension from, or no measurements from the house, the current foundation, to where the drain field starts in the backyard. So, Pierce County Code requires that you can't build, and we haven't looked into the exact number yet, but it's somewhere between 5 and 10 feet. You can't build within somewhere between 5 to 10 feet of a drain field. And so we don't know where exactly our drain field is. So I now have to dig up, because I also looked up, our septic tank was installed in 1982 and has not been replaced since then. I dug down to see if there's an access so we can get a cam in there, so we can run a cam down the pipe to the distribution box for the drain field. Found out there's no access in the vent pipe. There's no outlet pipe access. So I dug down and hit a concrete vault and found out that our septic tank is a 1,000-gallon concrete vault with no access on the pipe. So, and it's a 2-chamber vault, one to hold solids, one to hold liquids for pass-through to the drain field. By the way, I've worked in the plumbing industry for 15 years, so sorry if my terminology gets a little, I'm in mode of talking like I'm at work. And so anyway, so we have a 2-chamber concrete vault that, now that we're digging up the entirety of the vault, I am trying to find the best way into said vault so that we can run a cam down through it and find out how far down the line the drain field is. So our addition is currently on hold until we find that out. And if the drain field is too close for us to be able to add, we are going to have to go through a complete redo of our design. Fun. And if I get into that concrete vault and find out that that concrete vault is deteriorating, because concrete is a porous material that absorbs literally anything you put in it, we may have to put in a new tank as well. So, oh wow, Taylor, you're going on a 3-week road trip. Hell yeah, man, that's awesome. Well, then I won't be able to see you until next month's show. But that's awesome. Congratulations, and have fun. That should be a blast. I assume then if you're almost to Spokane, then you must be heading out to Glacier. And what I recommend, if you're going out that way, before you hit Missoula, head north, go up to Kalispell, Flathead Lake. You're welcome. Yeah, definitely. Go visit Flathead Lake. Kalispell's on the north end of the lake. Beautiful area. Since it's May, the park should be open by now. The campsite should be open by now. Definitely worth it. It's from North Point to South Point, it's 20-something miles. And at several parts of the lake, it's less than 500 yards across. If you go on West Shore, if you drive up the west side of the lake, you'll be looking across the lake at the east side of the lake, which the east side of the lake butts up right at the base of the Rocky Mountains right there, and just picturesque. And if you do camp on West Shore, you can actually sit there on days that you got overhead clouds overhead, and you can watch them just pass overhead, and they will literally sit there and catch on the mountains and back build and form rain clouds right there in front of you, and you can watch it rain on East Shore as you're camped out on West Shore in the sun. It's a fantastic place to go. That is one of my favorite places to go. That's actually that Flathead Lake Kalispell area is my goal for moving down the road. Anyway, so yeah, our remodel put on hold temporarily, potentially. But either way, I got to get the thing measured, find out where we're at. Once we do, then we'll know better how far we can build and whatnot. Fun stuff. So, yeah. So if I have to replace our concrete vault, that's going to be about a $10,000 project by itself. So, yeah, basically anything that gets sold from the website for the next month, going right towards that fund. Hopefully, crossing our fingers, though, that we don't have to replace the concrete vault. Anyway, so card shows. Card show coming up this weekend in Auburn. Go check it out if you're in the area. Twin Oaks Cards and Collectibles Show, Auburn Outlet Mall in Auburn, Washington, Saturday from 10 to 4 and Sunday from 11 to 4. Moving on to some more hobby news. We do have some releases coming up over the next few days. So today is May 18th. Tomorrow is Wednesday the 19th. And tomorrow, as I mentioned, one of our breaks is 2020-21 Contenders Basketball. That does release tomorrow. On top of that, we have a couple of Upper Deck products, Trilogy Hockey, and the rookie box sets. Staying in Coeur d'Alene tonight as a midway point, going to Yellowstone. Very nice. Very nice. Yellowstone's also a good place to go. Absolutely. Yellowstone's a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff to do in Yellowstone. But Coeur d'Alene, yes. That's another one of our favorite spots to go is Coeur d'Alene. Such a beautiful area. And then this Friday, we do have a Topps soccer product coming out. Topps Chrome Bundesliga comes out on Friday, which there's a lot of people that are going to be scrambling to pick that stuff up because Chrome soccer products have been just skyrocketing in price. Between soccer and Formula One, a lot of that stuff is just exploding. Next week, we do have a few more products coming out, and one of which being a one of my favorite rips, just for a solo rip, is Court Kings Basketball. Much like Diamond Kings, but this is a different format completely, at least it has been in years past. I do miss the days when they had the box toppers, but Court Kings has that brush stroke oil paint style look, and like I said, it's one of my favorite products. Usually you get an auto and a jersey card per box. Sometimes they've done 2 autos and a jersey card. It all just kind of depends. But that comes out next Wednesday, so expect next week for me to have a couple of breaks lined up for Court Kings. We're also going to have Absolute Baseball coming out next week, and as long as that holds true, I'm going to try to have a break set up of that as well. And then also, we have Legacy Football for 2021, the second product of the 21 football class, we'll call it, because we've now had Score. Technically, we've had Onyx Vintage, but we'll call it the second licensed and NFL licensed product. So, Legacy Football comes out next week as well. I will probably have one break of that lined up as well. And then we also have Topps Sterling Baseball coming out next week, which will be another one that I'm going to try to, if I can get my hands on it for a reasonable price, I will try to get my hands on it to do a break or two with it. If they do the configuration, see Sterling, If the Sterling still, I may have the 3 mini boxes. I might try to run some Master Box challenges. We'll see. Either way, fun products for next week. Next week's actually a pretty big week for releases. I'm kind of excited for it, especially with so much stuff that I can run some breaks with. I don't like weeks filled with product that's just not break friendly. And this coming week is, or I should say next week is a really good week for those types of releases. All right, what do we got in here? Not scrambling at Target. No. Sorry. Enjoy, Taylor. I don't know. Never heard of Yellowstone. Never been to Yellowstone. Sorry. Yeah, that's Yellowstone's a lot of stuff to do. I mean, you literally could spend an entire week there easily. Okay, which I'll get into further as well, but we do have more products coming out to wrap up the month. We are going to have Contenders Draft Picks Football that's supposed to come out the 28th, so that's the end of next week. We're also going to see some other non-licensed products such as Onyx Vintage Baseball, and then also Sage Hit Premier Draft High Series Football. We're also going to see come out before the end of the month as well. Next month, though, I'm telling you, be ready for some fire next month. I'm going to run through this line. So this is the lineup of products that's currently slated for next month. Topps Finest Baseball, Topps Tier 1 Bundesliga Soccer, Panini Chronicles Soccer, Impeccable Basketball, which, by the way, everybody, Impeccable Basketball got moved back. So I'm also looking for a new break for our rewards for the month because it got pushed back. Topps Finest UEFA Champions League Soccer, Panini Noir Basketball, Donruss Optic Basketball, Series 2 Baseball, the silver packs, Upper Deck Goodwin Champions, Rittenhouse Game of Thrones, Prism Draft Picks Football, and Panini Luminance Football. That's jam-packed. And by the way, that's only through the 16th of next month. That's a lot of products just in the first 16 days. Massive. Massive. Because then we also have Museum Baseball comes out next month. That one, for sure, I'm running some Master Box challenges with. I'm going to try to grab as many boxes of that as I can. Because Master Box challenges are fun. That's all through the 16th. Oh, there's even more through the 16th. Topps Chrome UEFA Champions League Soccer, Topps Chrome WWE Wrestling, Upper Deck Extended Series Soccer, or Hockey, excuse me. So there's a lot of products just through the 16th alone. Next month is going to be jam-packed. It's gonna get crazy. Next month's going to be crazy. All right, so that is our releases for the next few weeks. I want to double check something real quick. I want to see if I've even pre-ordered any museum. They allocated me out of it. Okay, so that means I'm going to have to pull some strings and see if I can get some boxes elsewhere. Okay, so moving over to our main topic for the night. As I'm assuming everybody knows, last week we saw the schedule releases for all 32 teams in the NFL, and yes, I know it got leaked early in the day and blah 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 blah. Either way, we saw all the schedules now. We know who everybody's playing, all 17 games, all 18 weeks of the season. We know where everybody's bye weeks fall. We know where everybody's home stretches fall. We know where everybody's away stretches fall. We know where everybody's international games fall, provided they're actually able to do the international games, assuming, based on the fact that I don't believe Roger Goodell would just say, we're going to do games in XYZ country without talking to XYZ country first. We're going to dive into that a little bit. And one of the first things we're going to look at while we're getting into that is going to be the projected or the already calculated strength of schedule. Now, as you see here, this is the 2021 strength of schedule based on everybody's 2020 record. And I'm going to grab my microphone here and move in a little bit closer so I can see this a little easier because my eyes suck. And you guys might be able to hear me a little bit better. But, and actually, you know what? I'm just going to do this instead because I have a copy of it that I can bring up a little bit easier. That's way easier to see. Holy crap. Yes. Okay. So, starting at the bottom of the list, the easiest schedules in the NFL. And I got to bring the chat room back up because I don't want to miss anything. All right, easiest schedules in the NFL fall to two NFC East teams, with the Philadelphia Eagles by far the easiest strength of schedule at a .430, with Dallas right above them at 452. So two teams who finished last season sub 500, who were still playing for a potential playoff spot, who were still playing for a division championship 2 weeks left in the season at sub 500, end up with the easiest schedules. And then right above them, we got two more NFC teams, Atlanta and Tampa Bay. And of course, the defending Super Bowl champions end up with the fourth easiest schedule in the NFL. I don't want to say that anything was necessarily rigged, but come on. Yes, I get it. They play 6 games within their own division. I get it. But come on. A 4-6-5 strength of schedule? We're going to look later on. We're going to be looking at Tampa Bay's schedule. I want to see who they're playing. If they're not, I mean, come on, they're in the NFC. They could be playing Green Bay. They could be playing Seattle. They could be playing Arizona. They could be, well, Arizona, I guess, had a sub 5. No, they could be playing the Rams, another playoff team. They could be playing the Bears, another playoff team. To give them that weak of a schedule after coming off Super Bowl championship, come on now. Do better. So, moving our way up, we get a couple of AFC teams finally. Miami Dolphins and Denver Broncos tied at a 471. And then we moved right back over to the NFC. Carolina Panthers and the New York Giants. So, Panthers, okay. Giants, okay. I get it. They didn't have that great of seasons last year. Buffalo, AFC Championship game contender. And they have an easy schedule. Indianapolis, they were in the playoffs last year. They have an easy schedule. The Saints, playoff team with Drew Brees, remains to be seen how they're going to be post-Drew Brees. And do we even know if Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill is going to be the starting quarterback? Do we officially know? No, we don't. And I tell you, if it's Taysom Hill, they're going to need an easy schedule. Patriots had a bad record last year, but they also had half their team opt out. We'll see. Jets, Niners, Jacksonville, that's 1, 2, 3 pick in the draft. All of them, look at that. Jets, Niners, and Jaguars all in that little spot, and those were the 1, 2, and 3. That's crazy. Chargers, okay. Texans, okay. Washington. I mean, I don't think Texans are going to do crap this year, but Washington, Washington's looking like they could be a good team. Out of the entire division, they have the hardest. Wait, where's Dallas? Dallas is at the bottom. Philly. Giants. Okay, we passed them. Okay, so out of everybody, and rightfully so, they were the division champ. So they're going to have a little bit tougher schedule. I get it, and honestly, I kind of think they're the better team in the entire division. Anyways, even with Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback, I kind of think that's an upgrade over the entire roster that they had last year for quarterbacks. Then you move over to the Arizona Cardinals, and then we start getting into some tougher schedules. Now we're above 500. We have been for a couple of teams now, but Arizona Cardinals at a 507, Tennessee Titans at a 507. Those teams are no slouches. You got the Seattle Seahawks coming in at 511 with the Chiefs. We got the Rams. We got the Browns. The Raiders have a tough schedule. Lions have a very tough schedule. I feel bad for the Lions. The Lions are going to have a rough go with a new head coach, a new quarterback, an entirely new wide receiving core. They're going to struggle this year. This is going to be brutal for them. Then the Bengals, that's another one that I think they're going to have some struggles because Joe Burrow coming off that really bad injury. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold up. Now, granted, part of it is he plays 6 games against 3 playoff teams. He's got to play Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cleveland twice each. That hurts. That really hurts. Those were 10-win teams last year. That's not good. That's really not good. Oof. Minnesota Vikings and Packers. You got the Bears. All 3 of the AFC North. All 4 of the NFC North. All right there. Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears. All within 5 spots of each other. How about that? And then at the top, Ravens and Steelers. Steelers are given the hardest strength of schedule again. And you know what's going to happen. If the Steelers do well to the tune of an 8-2 start of the season, all you're going to hear, they haven't played anybody, they haven't played anybody, they haven't played anybody, just like last year. When they went 11-0 to start the season, all you ever heard was they haven't beaten anybody. Everybody they beat is lost. Well, they beat more playoff teams than many other teams did that were in the playoffs. They had more wins against above 500 teams last year in the first 11 games than Kansas City did, and you didn't hear anybody complaining about Kansas City. So I already know what's going to happen. If Pittsburgh does well, they haven't played anybody. If Pittsburgh does not play well, see, last year that was just a fluke. I'm already aware of that. Trust me, you don't have to get into that with me. Okay, so we're going to look at some schedules here first. Starting off with the schedule for the Eagles. Okay, so with the Eagles' schedule, get this over here. So the Eagles have the easiest strength of schedule in the NFL. Okay? Now, I want to cover everything in this. Okay? We're gonna kind of break this down a little bit. So, first of all, the number one thing that everybody looks at is where's the bye week. So, looking at the Eagles, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why am I missing the bye week? There it is, week 14. So, also keep in mind, because of the extended game or the extended season moving into play this year because it's now an 18-week season. Need everybody to remember that. 18-week season, which means 17 games, which is also going to play hell on your fantasy football because this now is a Week 14 bye. In previous years, Week 12 was the last bye week of the season. Now they added it to be Week 14. So, a lot of fantasy football leagues always take the last week of the season off. They don't use that for playoffs. Some do, some don't. A lot don't because of how many starters end up sitting in the last week. So, for you fantasy football people, I'm one of them, keep this in mind. Now, if you're doing a 2-2 playoff, watch your Week 14 buys. If you're doing a bracketed playoff where it's the final 3 weeks, you're fine. But if you're doing a combined week playoff, so it's first round would be Week 14 and 15, second round is 16 and 17, and 18 is a throwout, you're going to have a bye week. So be very careful with your drafts. Make sure you're aware of what type of playoff format you're in, and make sure you're aware of when your bye weeks are, because you don't want to have guys on your team that you're going to be depending on to sit your first round of the playoffs. That would be catastrophic. Okay, so we've diagnosed Philly Week 14 bye, okay? They're already going to screw with your fantasy football playoffs. The likelihood of you having anybody on Philly's roster, anyways, in your fantasy football league, you may have one guy. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, starting with Week 1, obviously, we're going to look at some records here from the previous years. This is why Philly has the worst or the easiest strength of schedule for this next season. They start off with the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons last year were 4-12. Are they going to be a better team this year? I would say so, especially with Kyle Pitts, new head coach, new offensive coordinator. You're going to have Julio, Calvin Ridley, and Kyle Pitts. And have you seen Mike Davis? Mike Davis went to the Falcons. Mike Davis is a beast. There was a picture posted of him today at working out or on doing on-field workouts. Holy crap. That guy's thighs are as big as my waist, and I'm no small guy. I'm not small. That guy's thighs were freaking tree trunks. I mean, it's insane. I have a feeling Atlanta's actually going to be a pretty dang good team this year. Week 2, then they go over to the 49ers, and the 49ers were 6-10 last year. The 49ers also bounced between 3 or 4 quarterbacks last year. They had half of their defense was hurt. So a 6-10 bad 49ers team goes waltzing into home game, waltzing into Philly, and could potentially just lay a beating on Philadelphia. This could get ugly fast for Philly. That could be an 0-2 start. Week 3, they travel to Dallas. Dak Prescott's back. Now you've got Dak Prescott, a healthy Dak Prescott, throwing to CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, handing the ball off between Zeke and Tony Pollard. And I'm sorry, but Tony Pollard looked freaking good last year. There's a chance Tony Pollard supplants Ezekiel Elliott as the lead back. This could be... They could be a good team. You could have Philly starting off 0-3. All because Dallas finished 6-10, the 49ers finished 6-10, and the Falcons finished 4-12. And those all could be potential playoff teams this coming year. Potential. Didn't say they're going to. Potential. In Week 4, they play Kansas City. Kansas City played in the Super Bowl. 0-4 for the Eagles. That could be ugly. Week 5, Carolina. Carolina last year was 5-11. In comes Sam Darnold. An improved defense. Sam Darnold with an extra weapon on Matt Rule's offense. Carolina could be a 500 team. We could be seeing the Eagles go 0-5. Week 6, they play the Super Bowl champions. So in week 4, they play the Super Bowl loser. And in week 6, they play the Super Bowl winner, Tampa Bay. You gotta be freaking kidding me. This is set up for failure. And the Eagles are literally have the weakest strength of schedule. But yet, not taking into account the unwritten stuff. Like I said, you have an improved Atlanta team. You have an improved Niners team. You have an improved Dallas team. You have an improved Carolina team. Okay? You guys tracking with me on this? This is crazy. You have the Raiders. The Raiders. Who are the Raiders. And will probably never be anything more than the Raiders. So, I mean, week 7, you could see the Raiders absolutely just freaking light it up. Or you could see Derek Carr get exposed for 4 interceptions and sacked 87 times. You don't know. You just don't know what team you're going to get. So maybe they start off 1-6. Maybe. In week 8, they travel to Detroit. You know, if Dan Campbell doesn't bite off their ankles, they could get a win in Detroit. They could. I mean, who knows? Then week 9, they're at home against Herbie. Herbie comes to town. The rookie of the year from last year. And now they got to contend with Justin Herbert wanting to throw for 5 billion yards a game and 90 touchdowns. So, okay. Well, that sucks. There's probably a loss for Philly right there. Week 10 against the Broncos. Depends. Is Aaron Rodgers playing for them? Or is it Drew Lock / Teddy Bridgewater? If it's Drew Lock / Teddy Bridgewater, I'm handing that game to the Eagles. If it's Aaron Rodgers, the Eagles shouldn't even bother showing up to that game. Week 11, Saints. Who are the Saints this year? We said that to begin with. We said that when I was looking at the strength of schedule list. Are the Saints a Jameis Winston-led team where he can throw 30 touchdowns? Or are the Saints a Taysom Hill-led team where he's going to throw 18 touchdowns and try to run for 500 touchdowns and fail on most of them? Who knows? So that's a toss-up. Then you get the Giants, who are getting their starting quarterback back. They're not only getting their starting quarterback, they're getting their starting running back. They're getting multiple players on their defense. They're getting their wide receivers back. They drafted a wide receiver. This is, again, another retooled team. A healthy, retooled team. Maybe the Giants are going to lay two big freaking goosebumps on them. Who knows? Week 13. They go to New York and play the Jets. Who knows what the Jets are going to be under Zach Wilson, with Robert Saleh as their head coach, defensive-minded head coach, with Mike LaFleur as their offensive coordinator. They could be a stunner. Then they get their bye week, get healthy time. They're going to need it because the Eagles have had injury problems. And then they play the division champ from last year, Washington, who, if Fitzmagic has anything to say about it, will throw up a 40-burger on them. And then they got to go back and play New York again. Then they got to play Washington again. Then they got to play Dallas again. They end their season 4 straight weeks of playing division foes, including Washington twice. In the last 7 weeks, they have to play New York twice and Washington twice. Okay? That's a brutal schedule for the Eagles, regardless of them having the easiest strength of schedule. And that's why I wanted to bring this up. Otherwise, I wouldn't give 2 craps about their strength of schedule. This is an exact reason of why strength of schedule sometimes does not mean crap. Because you literally have a team who is going to get obliterated by a weak strength of schedule because the strength of schedule, the record being used on half of the teams they are playing, were bad records because of good reasons. Injuries. Injuries was number one. San Francisco, Dallas, Denver. Denver had several of their players hurt. New York. So, Washington. I mean, you look at it. You look at last year. You look at the NFC East last year. Did a single team in the NFC North have their starting quarterback the entire season? Nope. Dallas had 4. Okay? Washington had 4. The Giants had 3. Eagles had 3. Ridiculous. I've never seen a division in football have that much issues with their quarterback. That's insane. And yes, I said 3 for the Eagles because they brought in Sudfeld in the final game. That's what I was talking about with 3. Because they had to see what they had in Nate Sudfeld. Uh-huh. Sure, Dougie P. Sure. All right. One that I know a few of you guys are going to like. The Seattle Seahawks schedule. Sticking with that NFC theme to start with. Okay? So here in front of you is your Seattle Seahawks schedule. Week 1, you got Indy. Now remember, Seattle was top half of the strength of schedule. Okay? Well, before we get into week 1, what's the first thing we locate? Bye week. Seahawks bye week is week 9. So it's still in that middle of the season. It's not quite the end of the season, scheduling it wise anyways, and it's not early in the season. It's right there in that sweet spot that a lot of people like to see it. That way they're not going too long of a stretch to start with, and they're not going too late into the season, or too early in the season so that the rest of the season sucks. So, all right. Now looking at week 1, Indianapolis. Indianapolis could be a tough game for them. That's a playoff team. Okay? Carson Wentz now on the team. Built up the offensive line a little bit. Got themselves a pass rusher. This could be a good matchup. I'm looking forward to this game. This is going to be a lot of fun. I personally like this game. I'm going to try to get tickets to it because I want to go see Carson Wentz play. I am not going to pay $400 for a ticket, though, so most likely I'm not going to go. But my mind will be there. Week 2, Tennessee Titans. So they're going back-to-back weeks against the AFC East. No, South. My bad. Titans. Yeah, Titans. AFC South champs last year. Derrick Henry running like a madman. Ryan Tannehill played very well. Problem is, now they don't have Corey Davis. Corey Davis ran off to the Jets. So, I kind of think that's going to hurt Tennessee because they didn't really get a replacement for him. So, there you go. You got week 1, a bloodbath. Could go either way. Week 2, I kind of see this one going towards Seattle. Now, granted, it is away. No, it's home. Oh, it's home. Yeah, Seattle's got this one then. I was looking at it the other way. The Whites in the last one were home. Okay, so you got at Indy. You got home versus the Titans. They got the Titans game. Okay, coming into week 3, we got the Vikings. The Vikings last year finished 7-9. Depends. Kirk Cousins starting? Kirk Cousins could end up being a stud in that game, or he could end up getting absolutely obliterated. He's too wishy-washy. I would probably say this game falls to the Seahawks. It's in Minnesota. It's indoors. Yeah, probably go Seahawks. Then you've got one of the most interesting matchups to start the season. The Seattle Seahawks traveling to the San Francisco 49ers. And this could be the first game we see Trey Lance. We're not going to dive into the 49ers schedule right now, but this could be the toughest opponent of the early season for the 49ers, which could see Jimmy Garoppolo get absolutely throttled and Kyle Shanahan go, let's see what we got in this young rook. Put him in the game. And could see lightning. That could be a good game. I'm looking forward to that one for sure. Thursday Night Football. You've got the LA Rams coming to town. And the Rams are looking scary. Matt Stafford. You know, Seahawks were always talking about how they didn't respect Jared Goff. Seahawk fans said it. Seahawks said it. Most of the NFL said it. Most of the NFL fans said it. Yeah. Anyway, Matt Stafford, whole different story. Now you've got a guy who can legitimately throw the ball. That could be dangerous. This is going to be a tough game. And LA has been known to have Seattle's number in the last few years, so we could be seeing an LA victory here. In Seattle. Not the first time. Then the Seahawks travel cross-country for Sunday Night Football to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we don't know what kind of team we're getting. We really don't. Maybe that offensive line is going to be improved. Maybe Matt Canada is going to be a better offensive coordinator than Randy Fichtner was. Maybe it's all bullshit. We don't know. And that's the fun of the NFL. So, Seattle traveling to Pittsburgh. That's, I think, going to be another bloodbath. And then the third primetime game in a row for Seattle is Week 7 at home against the Saints. Now, again, we said this with Philadelphia. We don't know what team we're getting with the Saints. We don't know if it's going to be a Jameis Winston 30-plus touchdown team or if this is going to be a Taysom Hill 18-touchdown team. We don't know. I will say that if Taysom Hill is the quarterback for them, I would anticipate Seattle just obliterating them. If it's Jameis Winston, I think it could end up being a shootout. Following week, Week 8, at home against the Trevor Lawrence-led Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville, completely redone. New coaching staff, bunch of new players, new quarterback. I personally believe that experience wins out in this one, and Seattle wins it. Bye week, Week 9. Nice spot for them. Green Bay, Week 10, at Green Bay. The possibly Aaron Rodgers-led Green Bay Packers, possibly Jordan Love-led Green Bay Packers, possibly the Blake Bortles-led Green Bay Packers. We don't know. If it's Aaron Rodgers, I think it's going to be a hell of a game. If it's Jordan Love, I think it's going to be potentially a hell of a game. If it's Blake Bortles, Week 11 against the Arizona Cardinals, division foe. This one's in Seattle. Kyler Murray coming back, new weapons, new toys to play with. It's going to be a good game. I like the Cardinals this year. I think they're going to do well. Are they going to beat Seattle once or twice in the season? Who knows? It's going to be fun, though. Washington comes to town, or excuse me, Seattle travels to Washington Week 12, Monday Night Football, one of 5 primetime games for the Seahawks. Does the Fitz magic still work? Who knows? Could be dead by then. He could literally be dead by then. And then, the game I will be going to, the first time Trey Lance steps into CenturyLink Field. Yeah. San Francisco comes to town December 5th for Sunday Night Football. I will be there. I will be wearing a North Dakota State jersey. I will be cheering for Trey Lance. End of story. Week 14, December 12th, the Houston Texans. Deshaun Watson at quarterback? We don't know. We don't know what's happening. We don't know who he's trying to pay to get out of whatever he might have done or might not have done. We don't know. Houston's going to get throttled regardless. December 19th at the Rams. Lumen Field now. Thank you. I could not remember the name of the dang field. Lumen Field. Oh, man, some of these stadiums change names more than I change my underwear. This is ridiculous. It does sound weird. Lumen Field. Come on. CenturyLink. Now, granted, when it changed to CenturyLink, a lot of people were like, what? I don't like CenturyLink. And then everybody wanted to call it the Clink, and yeah, anyway. 5 years from now, when they rename the field again, we're going to be like, why didn't you just keep it Lumen Field? This sounds so dumb. But, yeah, who knows? It's going to happen every time. Anytime it changes. It's just like with T-Mobile Park. I still call it Safeco. It is Safeco Field to me. Yeah, that's just what it is. Don't call it T-Mobile Park. I don't care. Safeco. Safeco Field. I'm still going to call it CenturyLink. I guarantee I'm going to be calling it that all football season. Anyway, Rams. Seahawks travel to the Rams Week 15. Again, could be an absolute freaking barnstormer. Who knows? I'm really excited to see how the Rams deal with having a new quarterback. This is going to be a very fun a very fun season, I think. Week 16 at home against the Chicago Bears. Will it be a Andy Dalton-led Bears? Will it be, by then, a Justin Fields Bears team? Who knows? Bears were a playoff team last year. Bears could be a playoff team this year. If they have Justin Fields under center, can't imagine why they wouldn't be. And then you end up the season with the Lions at home, which, yeah. And then Arizona at Arizona. So, it's hard to say either way. I don't want to be a doomsday sayer for the Seahawks fans or for the Seahawks in general. Looking at this schedule, you could literally go 6-11, or you could go 13-4. I could see it happen either way, and neither way would surprise me one bit, because I know in this schedule there's going to be at least 5 games that are 3-point games. 5 games that are 3-point games. So imagine, if you will, 5 games that you lose by less than 3 or win by less than 3 that literally came down to the wind on a field goal, a botched snap, a laces out Finkel, who knows? Could go either way. Like I said, not going to be the doomsday sayer, but neither way would surprise me. 6-11 or 13-4 wouldn't surprise me one bit either way. The last schedule we're going to dive into, If you had any doubts, why? The Pittsburgh Steelers. Of course we're going to dive into that. Why wouldn't we? It's the Steelers. Got to dive into this one. Before we get into that, I had to finish that because it was getting warm. And I'm going to crack another one, so hang on. Yum. I'm not going to argue with that at all. Lions. Yeah. It's probably going to be easy. And I know, that's your team. But, man. Completely retooled. Have to redo their entire wide receiver roster. And I don't think they made enough improvements for bringing in Jared Goff to make him successful. I just don't believe they did. I think their defense is going to be solid. And I love Dan Campbell. I think he's hilarious, and I mean, I'd love to see the guy successful. I just don't know if I buy into the offense being able to put up points. Swift is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Swift is fantastic. Again, just don't know if I buy into them being able to put up points. All right. Oh, you're saying they're going to beat the Seahawks. Oh boy, Seahawk fans. E is calling you guys out. Ooh, brutal. All right, moving over to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Pittsburgh had the toughest strength of schedule based on opponents' records from last season. We're going to find out why. First of all, the first thing we look at is where the bye week is. This year, we have a Week 7 bye week for the Steelers, which kind of sucks because that's, in my book, early. And that means they have to play 4, 5, 6, 7 games. Wait, 8, 9, 10, 11 games to end the season. And the only way they're getting a bye is if they get the number 1 overall seed. Yikes. Okay, so let's dive into why they are the toughest strength of schedule. Well, let's start with week 1, playing the Bills. 13-3 team, AFC Championship game participant last season. They could get shredded. Bills are not anything to joke about. Bills are legit. Moving over to week 2, the Raiders. Really not that worried about that one. The Raiders are the Raiders. They're just going to raid in the game. So, I mean, it's no big deal. Week 3, Bengals. I will say that I don't want to fear the Bengals. I think the Bengals will put up more points this year than they did last year. But a healthy Steelers team, I think, is just going to wash them. Week 4 at Green Bay. Depends. Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, or Blake Bortles? So, I mean, we've played Aaron Rodgers before. It is what it is. It's at Lambeau. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen worse. Week 5, Denver. Yeah. Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater. Now, if it's Aaron Rodgers with Denver, whole different story. But I struggle fearing Bridgewater or Drew Lock at the moment. Week 6, we already talked about the Steelers-Seahawks game. where the Seahawks are going to get just absolutely throttled by Pittsburgh. I'm just kidding. I don't know for sure how bad it's going to be. It could be, well, for all I know, it could be bad for the Steelers. Who knows how their offensive line is going to turn out to be. Week 7 bye week. And then week 8, starting off with some more divisional games. And we go right in thick with the Cleveland Browns, who knocked the Steelers out of the playoffs last year. We're an 11-5 team. Yeah. Some would say this would be a revenge game for Pittsburgh. Others would say this is a big brother slapping little brother, respect your elders type of thing. I don't know. I'm not convinced that the Browns are stable yet. I'm not saying they're bad, but the Browns have been the Browns for too long for me to be confident that they won't turn around and brown it again. So, that being said, I usually put the Browns as a W on my schedule until proven otherwise. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens with them. They could collapse this year. They could run the table this year. The Browns are 100% that team that I wouldn't like how the Seahawks, I said, could be a 6-11 or a 13-4 team, and neither way would surprise me. The Browns could go 1-16 this year, or could go 17-0, and neither would surprise me. Okay. Then we get Chicago, and again, this goes down to the same thing. Do the Bears start Justin Fields, or is Andy Dalton in play? If Andy Dalton's in play, if Justin Fields is in play, there's too much unknown right now. I don't want to call that one. Then we get the Lions at home. I'm sorry that they're going to have to lay a beating on them. It's just the way it goes, bud. Sorry. You travel to Pittsburgh, and it's not a good place for visiting teams to come into. It's just tough. Really sorry about that. Jared Goff's going to get handed a big fat L after getting sacked like 18 times and throwing 72 interceptions in one game, and he's going to have negative passing yards that game. I just got a bad feeling about it. They're going to have to put Dan Campbell in at quarterback at the end of that game. Week 11, Pittsburgh travels all the way over to California to play the Chargers, to face Herbie. Who knows? Was Herbie a flash in the pan last year? Is he going to continue to throw bombs? Is he going to be improving on his year last year? 2021 is going to be an interesting season for sure. He's got protection now. He's got more protection. If Keenan Allen can stay healthy, that's a dangerous combo. Then turn around next week, right back at the Bengals. Shove it down their throat again. Who knows if Burrow's even going to be playing at that point? He might have already torn an ACL again. Then back-to-back weeks, we got another divisional opponent at home, Baltimore. It's Baltimore. Not sure there's another NFL franchise that I respect more than Baltimore. Mostly because they're almost in a mirror image of the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise, not team, franchise. In philosophy, in handling players. If I wasn't a Steelers fan, I'd potentially be a Baltimore Ravens fan. Potentially. But also because I love AFC North football. But I do respect the shit out of Baltimore. There's no denying that. And this game's going to be a good game because that's what happens with Steelers-Ravens. The best rivalry in football today. Just want to make sure that was clear. The best rivalry in football. Week 14 at Minnesota, so they get to go play at the Viking ship as well, indoor. We're talking winter time. Steelers don't have to play outside. Ben can air it out. Chase Claypool's going to take advantage of that. Could be a big win for the Steelers over the Vikes. Then you got Week 15, back at home against Tennessee. Derrick Henry, running strong in the wintertime. He tends to turn it up a notch come wintertime. Could be a rough stretch for the Steelers. Now, if we look back, we're at Week 15 right now. The rest of the season is all teams that finished above 500, which we didn't really dabble into. Let's talk about that real quick. Raiders were an 8-8 team. Bills were a 10-3 team. Bengals, one of the only teams that was sub 500 that they played last year. Bengals were 4-11. Green Bay, NFC Championship game. Broncos, 5-11. Seahawks were a playoff team, a 10-win playoff team. Browns were an 11-win team. Chicago was a playoff team. Detroit is Detroit. Chargers were a 7-win team. Bengals, obviously they play them twice, but then you got the Ravens again. Ravens were an 11-win team. The Vikings were... What were the Vikings? Were the Vikings an 8-win team? 7-win team. So they had 5 teams that were below... Only 5 teams on their schedule were below 500. Because then you got Tennessee, who was a 10-win team. 9-win team? 11-win team, sorry. Tennessee, 11-win team. Kansas City Chiefs, division champs, 14-2 in the Super Bowl. Then you got Browns and Ravens to end the season again. So, again, toughest schedule in football. And then when you look at it, the Ravens have almost an identical schedule. This is going to be a tough season for some of these teams. I think we're going to see more losses by some of these big-name teams that had a very good record last year just because of strength of schedule. This is one of those times where strength of schedule actually lines up to who they're playing and the teams that did well. Because out of those teams, you've got the teams that were bad are still kind of meh. The teams that are good are still going to be good this year. The Bills, the Packers, Seahawks, Browns, Bears, Ravens, Titans, Chiefs, all good. They're all going to be good this year. Now, like I said, some of them teams, Browns, Seahawks, could go either way. Don't know. Could go either way. And we have no clue which way it's going to be. And it wouldn't surprise anybody if they went one way or the other. All right. So that was our strength of schedule. Strength of schedule. Look ahead at 2021. All right. I'm itching for football season. God. Is it September yet? Nope. But you know what? There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen between now and then anyways. We still have a lot of stuff to get figured out. Like, where's Aaron Rodgers going to be? What's going to happen with Deshaun Watson? There's still free agents that are out there. There's a lot of stuff that the NFL, that I shouldn't say the NFL, that NFL teams need to get worked out before the season starts. There's a lot. Could change the entire look of several teams. because the Houston Texans are either going to be 1-16 or 4-13. That was a joke.
Oh.
Brutal.
Oh, sorry. Was reading the comments there for a second. You guys got people talking trash in the message board between Seahawks and Lions and Steelers. Hey, Dave, that's completely feasible. I will not argue that one bit. I wouldn't mind seeing Chris Paul and Devin Booker get a championship. I wouldn't hate that one bit. We're a big NBA show. Big NBA show. I did see the Pacers won tonight. So the Pacers go on to play the winner of tomorrow's game. Yeah.
I just know that somebody lost. I mean, I don't get me wrong.
I enjoy watching some basketball. I'm not a major basketball guy. I love playing basketball, and I'm a 90s basketball guy. And some early 2000s, but I tried getting back into it this year, and I watched some to start the year, and then I just kind of fell out of it. There you go, loser of the Wizards Celtics, because that's then whoever wins that game is then going to be the 8th seed. Yep, that's what it is.
I did read that today. My reading comprehension skills I am working on.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, basketball's been...
It's been tough to keep my heart in it, to be honest. We're going to have a bro down moment here. Ever since they took the Sonics away, I haven't been able to find happiness in basketball. And until they bring them back, I don't know if I ever will. It's like losing that first love. It's kind of what Sonics were for me. They were kind of my first sports love. Because I will admit, I actually was a basketball fan. Watched basketball before I got into football. Basketball was kind of that gateway drug for me. That sounded really bad. So the weather was big today. No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah, like I said, I pay attention to basketball some. But it's been really tough for it to keep my attention just because of the lack of the Seattle Supersonics that were stolen from us.
Yes, I don't deny that one bit. There's a ton of great talent. But we also have tons of COVID restrictions and all that kind of stuff right now. And it's been frustrating to watch this year as well, just because of that.
I do plan on getting back into it more. I thought getting back into collecting basketball cards was going to bring me back into watching it more.
And I don't want to say didn't. It didn't bring me back to the same love I had for it in the 90s. It did not. The 90s basketball was a completely different era that I don't know if I'll ever be able to find its replacement. That basketball was on a different level, and yes, the game is going in a fantastic direction for the most part. And there's a lot of good talent. There's a lot of good talent in the NBA. A lot of good young talent in the NBA. But Like I said, it just hasn't been able to keep my attention the same way. Maybe one day it will, especially if they do bring the Sonics back. We get the Kraken next year for hockey. I will be watching hockey next year. I am going to enjoy the shit out of the Kraken team. I'm all in. I'm all in on the Kraken. As long as they can get the Sonics back here too, then I could have 3 Seattle teams. Be the first time ever. Because I have never been a Seahawks fan. I've been a Sonics fan. I've been a Mariners fan. Still am today. We get the Sonics back, I could go 3-peat. We'll see. We shall see. All right, guys. I'm going to set my microphone back up. Hopefully it doesn't sound really bad as I'm moving it again. It is time to have some fun. It's time. It's time. It's Vader time. Okay, come on. Give me my camera. There we go. Vader time. Alright, hopefully there's no echo. I think I fixed it. No, we're not breaking Chronicles tonight either. Or ripping, I should say. What we are going to do is we're going to take a look at Onyx Vintage Football. We're doing a random team break of this tomorrow. A 6-box random team break of this tomorrow. And I want to take a look at this before we dive into this, because I want to know what I'm getting into. Yeah, I can imagine the volume's a little low. I gotta move the microphone a little bit further away when I'm getting ready to break. Is that any better? How about that? That might be better. Hopefully I didn't just blare your ears out with that. Okay, so we are going to get into this a little bit early tonight. Onyx Football 2021. Onyx Vintage Football. Again, I mentioned this before. This is an unlicensed product. Keep that in mind. I have a few boxes of this listed on the website for sale. It's a rather inexpensive product. You get 4 cards per box. You get 2 autos and 2 base cards. It's a nice little 2-piece box with a little felt interior to it. And again, tomorrow, 6-box break of this. So we're going to get 12 autographs. Alright, so here is your base cards for Onyx Vintage Football. Rashawn Slater. I'm going to take the back card because I did see that this is actually the hits are the 2 middle cards. Ogundeji. Alright, so our first auto. Oh, nice. J.C. Horn. Solid. That's a solid hit to start with. And for the Jacksonville Jaguars, running back, potentially wide receiver as well, Travis Etienne.
That's a solid box. You got 3 first-round picks in this product. Etienne, J.C. Horn, and Rashawn Slater. That's a solid freaking box. So, go get your spots in Onyx Vintage Football for tomorrow night. Because we are ripping a 6-boxer of this. So 12 autos. And I know that Trevor Lawrence is not in it, but Justin Fields is in it. Trey Lance is in it. Mac Jones is in it, I believe. But there's a lot of good signers in the product. And it's a rather cheap break. Eli Manning and Justin Herbert also did sign in it. Yes, that is correct. And as I was saying, it's a rather cheap break. I want to say I have it up at 13 a spot. Honestly, don't even know off the top of my head. I do know I'm going to have the checklist up, or the draft site up, so I can see who got drafted where, because this does run kind of deep at times, and I want to make sure that I have teams right. Let me check real quick. I believe it was 13 a spot. Yep, there you go, David. See, I was right. A lot of good breaks tomorrow night, though. A lot of good breaks. Everybody go get your spots. Make sure you're in these breaks. This is going to be insane. Between Chronicles, Onyx, Contenders, and then Bowman is just going to be fantastic again. Bowman is just a good product. Number one, because of all the Bowman First Chromes that you can get. It's just a solid break. I'm going to continue to do it until we get burnt out. Literally until we either people don't want to buy the spots anymore, or we stop pulling fire. We've literally pulled fire every single break. Even the first break we did that was a random team. Remember, we hit the atomic of Aaron Sabato from Minnesota. So, I mean, the autos weren't that good, but the parallels in that break were really good. So yeah, we're going to continue breaking. And next week's breaks are going to be good again. I've already got a list of what's going to be next week. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. But it's going to be a good night of breaks. So make sure you go get your spots in that too. I got to figure out how I'm going to do this drawing because, you know what? I'm just going to give away both these. Problem solved. I'm going to give away both Etienne and Horn. I still have a randomizer up. Ooh, I don't know if I do. How about now? Is it back? I don't know why it all of a sudden reset it. Okay, perfect. All right, so we have 2 autos to give away, and J.C. Horn and Travis Etienne, 2 first-round draft picks, and hopefully, I'd like to see Onyx get some sort of rights, NFL rights, whatever the case may be, to kind of give Panini a run for their money. All right, so it looks like that's going to be it. Let's run the drawing. We're going to randomize it 5 times per the dice roll before we added names. Good luck, everybody. 1. The number 1 spot is going to win Horn. The number 2 spot's going to win Etienne. 2, 3, 4, and lucky number 5. Shane taking the 1 spot. Taylor with the 2 spot. Shane, congratulations, winning J.C. Horn. Taylor, congratulations with Travis Etienne. All right. Congratulations, guys. Okay, so tomorrow night we're going to start at 4 o'clock. I don't know if we're going to be able to rip Contenders early in the night because I have to wait for it to show up. It's the release day, so I got to wait for the shipment to get here. But I will have Bowman, Onyx, and Chronicles ready to go. So make sure you go get those spots. Let's get those breaks filled. I have no doubt in my mind that Chronicles is going to fill. I have no doubt in my mind Bowman's going to fill. But let's get the other ones filled, and let's keep that momentum going. We've had some monsters pulled already in the 5 weeks since relaunching Break Night. What are my thoughts on Panini Blockchain? I have mixed feelings on it, Albert. I wasn't an NFT guy to start with, and I liked the idea of blockchain technology for use with physical cards, because I do believe that it can deter fraudulent cards from being produced, or cards being manipulated or modified. Because if one thing that has always been happening for a decade plus has been people who pull a basic patch out of a card and then they put in a really nice patch and then sell it for an inflated amount because the patch sometimes can drive the price. And so if they used blockchain technology to keep a digital record of every single patch card ever produced, then it works flawlessly. You'd also have to have a number imprint or a serial number for every card, which is doable. That, I think, would be fantastic. To just create digital card after digital card after digital card after digital card that has no physical backup to it, to me, is meh. I don't like it. It being just a digital card, it's no different than Topps Bunt. It's no different than your Madden Ultimate Team cards that you get when you're playing Madden or NBA 2K or anything like that. So I see no value in it. If they were video clips like Top Shot or art, maybe, but I don't I just don't think that the current blockchain setup is valuable at all. You can't put an autograph on a digital item and call it an authentic autograph. You cannot. That is not an authentic autograph. I don't care if you own the rights to the player's likeness, image, jersey, team name. I don't care. You cannot claim an autograph is authentic if the player did not physically autograph it. And that's my big hang up with blockchain. They're selling autograph patches. Bullshit. They are not selling autographed anything. They are selling a digital reprint. That's no different than the lithographs, than the printed on autographs of other cards. There's no difference in that. Zero. There's nothing that separates that. And yeah, I've gotten blockchain cards, and I've redeemed them, and I sold them on the Panini website. Absolutely. It's easy to do it, Albert. Redeem it and sell it. You can do that. You can put it up for auction. I don't want the cards. I have not looked at buying anybody's cards. I'm not going to. There is nothing of value, in my opinion, to it. Don't sell the redemption. Redeem it yourself and sell it on the app. You can sell it within their own marketplace. And there's nothing wrong with that. If somebody wants to buy it, go for it. I don't see any value in it, though. I don't believe that there's going to be any value to it. I personally believe that the Panini blockchain app is going to crumble because there's no... there isn't any that I've seen. There's no backup to it on anything beyond their server. When you talk about cryptocurrency, when you talk about NFTs, there is all this beyond my comprehension backing behind most of it. And I don't see that with blockchain, with Panini's blockchain. I don't. To me, it's just them making digital images of cards. That's all I see. I know people have said, oh, blockchain technology, it's the future. I get it. But it's literally on Panini's server. It's not a tradable item. At least with things like Top Shot. Top Shot, you have to use a Dapper balance, or you're buying and trading within the Dapper marketplace, and all the funds are controlled. Panini's not like that. Panini is done through your PayPal. That's what scares me. There's nothing backing it. So my issue is it's all controlled within Panini's website. It's not expandable. You won't be able to trade within other marketplaces, like with Top Shot, with a bunch of these other crypto and NFTs. They're working on platforms to trade within other platforms. So if you wanted to trade somebody, Ivan does his horse racing. So if you wanted to trade somebody a horse for a LeBron Top Shot or whatever else the case may be, you're on a platform that you can trade it all. Panini can't do that. Their system is not set up for that. Their system is internal. If Panini went under tomorrow, all that blockchain's gone. All that blockchain is gone. That is all on their system. At least if Robinhood went down tomorrow, you don't lose your Dogecoin. It's transferable to other platforms. So that's my frustration with the blockchain, with the Panini blockchain. And now, again, like they did with a few of their cards, where they released a physical card with it, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. If your blockchain card has a physical card that goes with it, so your blockchained physical card can never be duplicated. Okay? Can never have a fraudulent copy made because it's blockchained. That I'm all for. That I'm 100% for. That is essentially like making a population report with a digital version of the card as your patents or your heritage of the card, essentially, so that you can, if you wanted to sell it to anybody, they could go onto the website, they could see the picture you're selling and look at what the digital footprint is and say, oh yeah, this person has this card numbered 13 of 25. The patch is exactly like this, the autograph is exactly in this location. Boom, done. There's no way that can be scammed. Okay, enough ranting about blockchain. All right, guys, so it's time to wrap it up. I want to thank all of you for joining tonight. I appreciate it as always, and I'll get the cards sent out to our winners. And don't forget tomorrow to be on at about 4 o'clock. We're going to go live. Hopefully we can crack into stuff. I want to get Chronicles rolling first. Let's get stuff filled. Get your spots. Let's get rolling in this. And let's have a lot of fun. And I will see you all tomorrow night, or any of you that are going to be breaking with me tomorrow night. I'll see you on the live stream tomorrow. If not, I'll see you next week. Have a good week, everybody, and stay safe out there.